Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera and
Spiffy Tiffy.
oh my gosh, we are on a hike and we're in the middle of the wilderness.
We're a hot mess right now. That's what we are.
So Tiff flew in and we decided, since we're actually together, we should do our birthday podcast together because little known fact, if you don't know, Tiff and I actually shared the best birthday in the entire world.
Yeah, May 8th.
Boom.
I think they knew that though.
I think they did too. And if you didn't, well, welcome. And so I convinced Tiff we were going to go on a hike today. And when we used to be like old school Dental A team, we used to go on hikes and podcast on a hike.
That's true.
So we decided to, we've got cords all over us. Like this is in our ear. We haven't done this in so long. I feel like rookie move here. So if the video turns out amazing and if it doesn't, well, just imagine Tiff and I are sitting up on a hill on this bench. It was a beautiful hike up. We're in Reno, Nevada right now, but we get to celebrate our birthday. And I wanted to riff this because May 8th is an incredible day. Tiff and I are both like so random, Tiff. We met. I feel like Tiff and I in work world, we met on a blind date, basically. Like we were set up by a mutual friend for Tiff to come and join. And she is still in my phone, Tiffany Trader DPP.
Yep.
Forever.
Because DPP is the company that Kiera previously owned. That brought us together.
Yeah,
so,
it was
DPP.
Dental Placement Pros. Tiff was a recruiter, and then recruiter turned consultant turned lead consultant. She's kind of done it all. But Tiff, I feel like happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Gosh, it's like just right around the corner.
It is. And so this is releasing on our actual birthday. And so I thought a fun riff would be, Tiff, we are both about to enter a new decade of our lives. Yeah. And I thought about thinking about like decades in practice ownership, decades in our life. I don't know how you're feeling, but going into our birthday this year, I've really been like on this mull of like, who do I want to be in the next decade of my life? And what do I want that to embody? And I know you and I are both kind of on that same path. It's really fun. It's been fun with you. I think over the course of time, shoot, girl, it's been almost 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
8 years. That's actually cute. But just thinking about like, we've gone through so much together. And I think if we were to look back at when we first started the company, I feel like Tiff started it with me. Like seriously, you've been through 99.999% of all of it.
Sure.
And just thinking back of like, I think of who we were when we met versus who we are today, and really like huge kudos to us of like both progressing and growing. But I'm like, Tiff, what does this next decade look for you? Like, I thought, let's think about it. And like, maybe what was the decade before? What was that focused on? And then what are we going into for this next one from your perspective, from my perspective, and helping owners and like offices think about like, when you first started your business, it might look different. And like, what are the different decades or even 5 years of your life? How do we kind of like capture that and maximize? To me, this I feel like is living life on purpose rather than just unconsciously going through the motions.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually it's a really fun conversation, not only because it's a fun conversation, but it's actually, I think I can make it super applicable for life and for business in general. So whether you're a dental practice owner or you're an entrepreneur of your own, or just whatever kind of business you're owning or working in or managing, I think I can make it pretty applicable, because when you ask me that question, like, what am I going into? What did I come out of? Like, what does that look like? And I think we both are very intentional human beings. So we're always very intentional with our time, and we're very intentional with like what's coming, and how can we make the best or the most of what's coming. And I can say this one's fun too and easy for me because I'm going into a whole new world of age. Going from 39 to 40, that whole new like 10 years. Everybody looks at their lives in like 10-year segments. And going into 30, that life was how can I show up the most for my kid? Because Brody, was at an age where he needed me. He needed the best parent that he could have. He needed the happiest mom that he could have. And I was very intentional with who I was being, and what kind of a life I was creating for us so that Brody could have the best experiences possible. So going into 30 was like, okay, how do I show up the best for my kid? Because he's at these formative years and ages that he needs me to continue showing up. And how do I show up the best for him? So it was very much about my identity as a mom, I guess, and like reforming that, and allowing my work to be a part of that and a part of Brody's life and a part of showing him how to be a good employee and a good team member and a good human when it comes to work as well. And it's fun actually going into this next decade because Brody and I hit milestones together, which is incredible. I didn't plan it that way, but it works out really nicely. And so as he is graduating high school and going on to college, I will be a year into 40. And so I'm going into my 40s with this whole new mindset of how do I support my adult child the best, which frees up, honestly, like so much for space for me because he is going to be so independent.
Right.
And when I think about that, it's crazy because now I have all this time
Yeah.
for me and this space for me. So really like reforming what that looks like for work, for pleasure, for other relationships in my life, and making sure that I'm super intentional still, but thinking about it in like a business mindset. It's kind of like that last 10 years was like my teenage years. Those Brody's, like middle adolescent to into his teen years, and really being intentional with that time in the teen years of the like grit and the hard and the emotions and the puberty and all of the changes. And business does that too.
It does.
Right. So you get to like 5 years in business and you're like, okay, I still have like a screaming toddler. And then you get to 10 and you're like, okay, this is kind of cool. We're sustaining. And then that next 10 years, right? Like if we're getting to those markers, it's like, okay, now we're like in our adolescence or however you might want to look at it. But then you get to the space where it's like, wow, this has opened up and I have leads and I have people on my team that are sustaining my business. So it's like having an adult child, right, who's like in college. So I still have to like be there and hold accountability lines and like do so much of it, and financially still have to be there. But then in the next, 1 to 6 years from now, that's going to shift and change again, where it's like, cool, now I'm like maybe not financially tied and so emotionally invested. And when you look at your business, I think it's kind of the same trajectory. So that's my long-winded answer.
I liked it. I love it a ton because so when we did Summit together, and we talk about the life cycle of a business, which came from Tony Robbins, and it really does talk about like from toddler to like from birth to like infant, then toddler, then you go into like your middle school years. I do remember Brody in his middle school. We were going to like Tiff was like on coaching calls. We were running to like after school pickups. So we weren't in, like the longest line. And then they go into like high school, then they move into college, and then it's kind of this prime. And it's interesting because I think as you and I shift into these decades that are different, like I agree with you. I think our 30s were so much of building us, building a business, building who we wanted to be. I feel like so much of my identity and who I am, not that it's tied to the business. I think at the beginning it was. And I think we both watched a lot of that. And then we realized like this was crushing us and crippling us. And we had some really strong breaking points. Like you said, I think it's like that refining and redefining who we are and like what we actually want it to be, because we're no longer in survival mode. Like, thank heavens, like cheers to that. Like, I feel like we should cheers our microphones. Here we go.
I hope everybody says that.
But like, cupcake later. Yeah, we will. But like, cheers to that we got out of survival mode, because every business and I think every person goes into survival mode. That it's almost like, Tiff, I'm a little scared, but like beyond optimistically hopeful that we can like sit and take a breath and actually enjoy what we created and enjoy the life we created rather than trying to keep building. And I think like that's like the crusting it feels like we're headed into in business and life. Like, so Tiff, like what's on horizon for 40? I mean, for me, I know I've been looking at, and it's funny, you and I are actually going to probably switch roles. You're about to be childless, like less dependent. And if everything goes the way that my life is shaking up, we will become very child dependent. Like babies, we're hoping, like that becoming a portion of our life, which honestly, it feels funny that you and I are constantly shifting lives, like literally shifting all the time. But also so beautiful that the different seasons of life, we can show up for each other in different ways. But like, what's on the horizon for 40? Like, what does 40 feel? Because I've been thinking like, what's the energy of that? What do I want it to be? We think of this in business every year. There's an energy, there's a creation, there's a word that we have, but it is interesting to not feel so survival-ish, but more sustained. And like, to me, it feels like we're headed into true prime in business and true prime in life. So what's on Tiff's prime? Like Tiff's not Brody's like full-time parent all the time anymore. Like he's weird. That's got to probably also feel weird. Like what's 40? What's the vibes you're feeling for moving into that decade of your life?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think the human and the man that Brody has already become, he impresses me every single day. Like literally every day.
He's an amazing human. Yeah. Like I feel so lucky that I've been I mean, how he was so little. I think it was 8 when we met. Yeah. And so to watch Brody, I feel like I didn't see the child. Like I don't know Tiff as like brand new newborn mom. Yeah. I have no clue. And that feels like hard years of your life.
Yeah. That's so long ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. Like it was.
And I met you when he was 8, but to watch you and him, just this incredible bond. around, and he's such an amazing human. Like, kudos to you. It's got to feel really good of like moving into 40, you raise this human that's really going to go impact the world in such a special way.
He is going to do something incredible. And I remember when he was an infant and when he was like a baby and then a toddler, I remember reminiscing with his grandma, his dad's mom, that he was going to do something really incredible. And every year of his life, the two of us have just been like, he's going to do something incredible. So we have known since that baby came into this world that he was here to impact the world in really great ways. So Brody does a lot of it on his own, if I'm honest with you. Like, I love taking credit for it because I know that I do impact him, and I know that the way I communicate and the person that I am definitely helps mold him. But we've had a village of people around him, you and Jason included, like, that have just impacted who he is. But Brody just intuitively and innately knows how to be a good human, and he trusts himself, he trusts his intuition, and he just goes through life. So I'm really proud of him, and it's fun to watch that. And so I'm really excited. I'm so sad. Like, gosh, it's just like heart-wrenching to think of how massive that change is and like how different life will look in a year. But I'm so excited to see him as an adult. And like see him create his own life and all of his own adventures. So I'm really excited about that. And what the next decade looks like is, I don't know, it feels like things are slowing down but still speedy at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot coming, a lot of trips and a lot of fun, and Aaron and I's relationship is just incredible, and there's a ton on the horizon there, I can tell, and with his two younger kids, but being able to be in a space and in a relationship that I can like continue to soar and continue to find freedoms and share those and spread those with him and explore the world with him while still being a part of the kids' lives, but not being dependent on for that. Like, I don't know how to say that. Like, I'm not raising the kids. Like, I'm there to positively impact and to support Aaron in whatever ways that he needs, but he doesn't need me to raise the kids, which is freaking incredible. It's like the best relationship I could have ever dreamt up. So like that's on the horizon, fostering that relationship, those relationships, all three of them, and their mom, fostering a relationship with her. She's incredible. And really, I don't know, intentionally devoting into that new space and area and allowing me and Brody to find a new adventure. Like, for both of us, it's going to be, the next 10 years is going to be really shifty.
I mean, just think he's going to go from 18 theoretically to 28 in a decade. Jason and I were talking of like, how crazy is it that when you look at the decades of your life, so like from 1 to 10, you go through a lot of school, but from your 10 to 20, like you're finishing up high school. So basically like almost 20 years, those first 2 decades are so much school. But then I feel that third decade, the 20 to 30, is so much freaking growth. It's finishing college. It's figuring out who you are. It's getting your first job. It's figuring out how life works. And then I feel like your 30s to 40s, for us at least, we're like, building, like it was the big build of who we are as people. It's building it was building the business together. It was building our identities. It was building, like you were building with your children. Like just so many pieces. And then it feels like the 40s, it's almost like you've crested the mountain, which that was cute. We're at the top of the mountain right now with podcasting. And knowing that there's so much more ahead. It's not the final peak. There's so many more peaks, but it doesn't feel as hard as it was to grind to this area. And I think for me, I'm not quite to 40. I'm very close. I'm 1 year behind Tiff. So that's kind of fun to talk about. But I've been looking, and I think for me, the 40s feel very much like we said. I mean, moving into motherhood feels very thrilling and daunting all at the same time. Like me morphing into that. I've wanted this for so long. You know that. You've gone through the journey with me for so much of it. But like, how does that shift me as a CEO, as a friend? Like, I've watched you put Brody ahead always. And to have that fierce love come into my life is something that I'm so excited to like morph mine and Jason's relationship even more. But also it's very much, I'm looking at my 40s, there's so much health. And I think you and I are both hitting health harder than we ever have. Just to make sure that the body I have that I've been gifted with really can help me have the life that I want to have till I'm 90, till 100. We have this great vision of us. We're both in pink and blue. Tiff and I have this vision of, I'm in pink, she's in blue. Tiff's going to be the cotton candy blue granny. I'm going to be the cotton candy pink granny. We have like, I'm going to totally have pink hair. Tiff's planning to have blue hair. We're like cruising. Tiff, I don't know if I've told you, like, it's gotten a bigger vision. Like, we're going to be on the beach somewhere. I've already thought through this because it was originally like Jazzy's with this, but we're going to have this like freaking villa of like all the awesome people that we want to be around that are in this amazing villa. We're going to have it to where if we have to be in Jazzy's, it's only because they're fun. They have NOS on them.
Well, and they have the like sand tires.
Yes, 100% sand tires. And then we're going to have our own like private like boat and yachts that like
obviously.
we can have this trail go to. We're going to have people that live there. Like it's going to be this most amazing place. I'm so excited about it. Like living just our best lives. This will be your tree space, Tiff.
Yeah, there you go. You found it.
But just like making sure that I take care of my body now, and really putting an emphasis on that to be able to sustain. But also, I think, like you said, no longer so much focus on me personally, but being able to give more. It's a weird shift, but who knows? Shoot, having kids, I probably will be like, Tiff, I lied. I lied about all this. I had these grandiose ideas on that mountain, and like, screw it. It's like just pure survival. But really, I think that there's like impact, health, and a continuing morphing. But I think that this is evolution of souls. Like this is evolution of business. This is evolution of owners. And I think if you're a new owner, just realize it does get better. True or false, Tiff?
Oh my gosh, true. I actually, it's funny that you say that because I have an email ready to go for a client call today. And my client's been a practice owner for like, gosh, just
like
over
6 months.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. And one of the action items is like, help me feel less, what it is like, crazy, right? Like he's just like turmoiling all the time. And I thought to myself, as I was reading it this morning, I was like, bro, that's not happening yet. Like you just got to sit tight and know that like that's where you're going to be for a hot minute. So, and I feel like you said like the 10s to the 20s to the 30s, right? And I feel like the 20s for me was like infancy again. Like the 20s was like, or not even infancies. I think 20s for me was like that 2 years old to 5 years old age where you're just like not sure how to be or how to act or how to communicate yet, but you're trying everything and you're running as fast as you can and climbing things before somebody catches you. And like asking for forgiveness, not for totally. I feel like that was my 20s. Just like, what can I do? What can I get into? Like, how can I just be my most self? Yeah.
To like live wild and free.
Well, it was like, how do I test the waters of being an adult? And how do I navigate this adult world? And figure out what's okay and what's not. I kind of felt like that was my 20s, and my 30s was like, okay, now I'm going to dial in who I am. But like the reality is it was still just like testing the waters. And I feel like 40 is like, I'm my most confident self today than I have ever been. And I feel more true and aligned with who I am today, even than I did a year ago. And so something like, I feel like it's like, we say we're in a cocoon all the time. And I feel like that's, I honestly haven't even, I feel so guilty. There's so like friend events and things that I just have pieced out on in the last year and maybe even 2 years, but specifically the last year, I have super reclused, just like gone inwards and really dedicated and devoted to really figuring out what the important pieces of my life are. Not that these friend events aren't important pieces. It was just like noise. And I had to reduce some of the noise. And I can see and I can feel that in the next 6 months to a year, like that will start opening back up again. But I had to recluse in order to be able to like see more clearly.
Yeah. And I actually think it was, I don't know if it was dually induced or if we were separately on the same track, but I think both you and I hit a breaking spot last year where we both broke, which is odd because we were so confident, but I think we broke on the noise. And really, I know you took an inward step, I took an inward step, and we both were like, all right, independently and like connected too, which is really interesting to look back on, Tiff. I didn't realize how almost like same track we were on, just independent.
It just looks a little differently.
It did. But I agreed with you. It was like, cut out the noise, figure out what's really important, what really makes me happy rather than what I've always thought made me happy. And I think like to relate this back to offices, I think that there becomes noise in business too. I think that there was noise in dental A team. I think that we were growing. We were really like after a shining star. And I remember it was an interesting moment where you told me, you're like, Kiera, we like kind of lost our vision, and not kind of like, we straight up lost it. It was like almost thrown in the trash on accident. We were just chasing something, but we forgot why. We forgot what we were doing. We forgot everything that like it stopped being fun. I remember I was on a walk and I called you and I said, Tiff, why does it have to be this hard? And you said, I don't know, but it feels freaking hard right now. And I think right after that is when we both like hunkered in, we went inside. And I mean, people have said, like, why haven't you guys been on the road? Well, this is why. This is why we had to figure it out. But it's so beautiful on the other side of it. So I think as practice owners, realizing like there is time to be quiet, there is time to internally reflect. Like, just because you're at the prime right now doesn't mean you're going to stay in prime. We know that we're headed towards this prime area, but it's also going to be something done with intentionality. We're very intentional with all the hires we make. We're very intentional with the moves we make in the business. And I think this is so parallel to business and life. Like, business to me is such a spiritual, personal thing that I think teaches us so much about who we are as people if we want to. But I've learned so much through it. It's kind of fun too. But I also think like celebrate the next decades that we're going to, celebrate the awesome things we're headed to. But I would say in the last probably like 1, if not 2 years, I think as people, we figured out who we were. And as the business, we figured out who the business was. And maybe as I'm saying this, maybe the businesses also reflect you as a person.
Oh my gosh, it totally does. The business absolutely reflects both of us. If we're in turmoil, if
we try not to be in turmoil at the same time.
But it does. It absolutely reflects us. And I think as you were saying all this, Karen, I think it's so precious and valuable. There's a space there that I was thinking, gosh, actually, like us both, like we're like, gosh, we had to clear out the noise. But I'm thinking, like, okay, how does this relate? Because I do believe business is going through your businesses are going through the same things, just like our business does, whatever the life cycle. So I'm thinking, gosh, I went internal, and I had to like clear out some of the noise. I had to decide intentionally where I was spending my energy and my time. I think that's like narrowing down your new patients, narrowing down what procedures you want to do. Because I think when you start out, when you're in infancy and toddler and adolescence of being a dentist, you are doing everything. You're like, what can I grab at that's going to bring in the revenue and get me profitable? And you're just go, do.
And you have to do that.
You have to.
Like, that's like starting a business.
So too, it's like, what do I like? What do I want to do? You can't figure out what you like or want to do if you haven't tried it, right? We can't decide what sport we're going to play when we're a kid if our parents didn't allow us to try them all. So that's a parenting tip.
True.
I'm
taking notes.
Don't push them into one. Let them try and let them decide on their own. That's my parenting plug. But I'm thinking like, gosh, you're like, noise is, I don't want to do root canals anymore. Like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. I don't want to. I have a doctor that's like, Tiff, I don't want to freaking do any more fillings. I'm like, then stop doing fillings.
Yeah, hire an associate.
Like, that. It's fine. But he's at the point now that he can't do that. And I think that's the clear out the noise when it comes to a dental practice is what is the noise? If you're really frustrated, angry. Like a year ago, however long it's been now, when I was like, I can't do this anymore, I literally felt like I couldn't think. Like, it was so noisy. Nothing was making me happy. Everything was just like a sword being poked at me. Everything that happened was something. And I was like, this is not my natural state of being. So in my mind, when I feel out of my natural state of being, when I feel like things are hard, when I feel like things are chasing me and I'm chasing a golden carrot, I know something has to give, and that's when I either slow down enough to like clear out the noise or I break. And last year I broke, but I had to break in order to make the change. But that's where it is at your practice too. So if you're in your practice and you're like, this sucks, Kiera, like this sucks and I can't do this anymore and I'm ready to sell. I've had so many doctors tell me that, like, yes, just sell this. I'm like, you can, let's prep it. Always be prepared to sell. So then by the time we get through with that, they're like, actually, I kind of like this. I'm like, yeah, I know, we just have to clear out the noise. So you just have to clear out the noise and dial it in. Normally, what I find and what we found, right, is that we had lost our vision. So we were chasing everything instead of looking to accomplish our mission and our vision and bringing in things that supported that. We were chasing all of the things. Like, every client is the one that we want, instead of being like, what does the client look like that supports our mission? Who's here to help us support our mission? And who's here to like just go through an operations manual, just buy the operations manual. That's being freaking tastic. Yeah, we're here to support our mission. We want to support yours, and that's what we had to come back to Charles with. So it's just like a clarifying moment. And as you were talking, I'm like, gosh, no, actually, as we went inside and as I've morphed and changed and figured out what I needed to clear out this year, like, that's exactly what it is.
Totally. And Tiff, I love that you brought that up because there is so much noise and I think there was so much fear that held us there. There's no way I can stop doing this. Like, I remember we thought, like, if we don't say yes to every single client that comes through and dental A team isn't like providing for all of them, we're failing the mission, rather than like, well, we're never going to be able to serve everyone we want to, and we're building things to be able to serve. That's why we do the podcast. That's the way we're able to serve every person that wants to be a part of this. But I think like before you get to that breaking spot, which I think you and I both, we learned a good lesson. Realize that you can actually say no to those fillings. You can say no to the root canals. You can say no to these things. Tiff and I were like, we don't want to travel. And Tiff, you're like, let's do in-person events. And I was like, I don't want to do those. And I'm so grateful we did it because they've been some of the most incredible things. And hearing the clients, you had a vision that I couldn't see. And I also would say to owner doctors, don't be afraid to let your team help you find that vision while you're going through it. Tiff had the vision. She saw where we needed to go. I couldn't see it. And so trusting that Tiff, whether it's for like, I was like, shoot, Tiff, if this is what you're going to do, take it and run with it. But truly, I'm so proud of you and so grateful for you because you saw the vision when I was blind and I couldn't see it. And I think having trusted people in your life, but realizing your life, like I think we get to do this one time. And that's why I'm super excited for us to be going to this decade. That's why I wanted to do this podcast with you. I was like, sure, can I riff about our birthday on my own? Yes. But I'd love to talk about it because I think we bring different perspectives of your business is just like your life. So when you look at, and I think one of the bigger things that I started looking at was when I'm 90, 100, 110, 120, when I look back, what am I going to want to be at that point in my life? How am I going to want to act? What are the things I'm going to be proud of? What are the things that I'm going to be like? That was my legacy. I realized I wanted to leave a legacy and I wanted to have impact. And Tiff, I know that that's right aligned with what you are and what you want. And I know there's spaces in your own world that you want to do. We talked about it. There's other things. And so really becoming those people we want to be that we're proud of. And your business is the same. Like you go to sell your business. What do you want it to look like? What's the legacy? How do you want this to play out? And I think that helps you make decisions clearly. So I think like as we wrap this all up, like Tiff, happy birthday. Like I'm excited for the 40s together, to see like what we become and how we do. Also in business, clear out the noise, Tiff. I think that was one of the most beautiful things of clear that noise out, really hunker down. Like if you're at the beginning, you're going to be hustling, like realize it's the hustle, the grind. But if you're later on, realize that you can make changes to make life happier. And that's also okay. I believe we get one life and we get to make it the best or the worst. And it's kind of like a schedule. Like, oh, our schedule is terrible. We're like, you made it that way. Like, you have the choice to change that. I think it's the same with your life. Like, this is your life. Yes, we're all dealt cards, but we're the ones who ultimately get to paint the canvas of what we want it to be. And Tiff, I love you in my life. I love sharing the business with you. I love creating with you because you push me and inspire me in ways other people don't. And you get it. And it's beautiful to create canvases together simultaneously and independently and just be huge raving fans of each other and just so grateful for the life that we've been able to go on this journey with.
Yeah, I ditto. Like I can't even say it better. And I think that we've created something really incredible, and the ability to share it with other people has been so much fun. Bring more people onto the team that can get behind what two girls trying to figure it out created. And it's just been really fun. Everything is done with intentionality, and I think something you said made me think like just own it. Ownership of your life, ownership of your business. And at the end of the day, what do you want people to say about you when you sell your practice? What kind of a business owner were you? Because I think we've all walked into or you've purchased the practices where the teams aren't talking so great about the previous owner, or the patients are like, oh, thank goodness, or whatever, like be that guy that people are like, wait, where did he go? I always had so much fun and I wanted to talk with him, or whatever. Like, what do you want people to say when you're done with whatever this piece of your life is? What will it look like when you're gone? And take ownership of that, and take ownership of the power and control that you have over it.
Totally. And I'll say, Tiff, like just the silver lining for everybody listening, if you're going through the suck that Tiff and I went through, it does not matter where you are on the business life cycle. This will always hit you. So just know it's going to be there. So I think one, be very intentional with where it is. And Tiff, when you and I got more intentional, there you go. You're welcome. Wow. We got more intentional. Hiring became easier.
Yeah.
We stopped trying to be everything for everyone. Like me as a CEO, I was like, fine, people are going to talk about me. That's fine. This is who I'm going to be. And this is Kiera. This is the version I want to be. And I feel like I stepped into a role that I had never owned. We started hiring people with a lot more ease. We started attracting clients with a lot more ease. And things really got better. So I think if you're in that space of just like, I don't know, close down the noise, get really intentional. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? What are the things you want to be known for? What are the things you want to do? Get that vision locked in. We brought our leadership team together. We got 4 of us like dialed in of exactly what we want to be together. And it's wild that in 6 short months from that first meeting to shoot, we're 6 months from that meeting. The ease and the flow that has come has been something that I can't even explain. It's magic. So go in. If we can help you out, if you're like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm living your life, call us. We don't just say that we're here to consult you. We've been there, we've done it successfully, and we want to help you. So reach out, hello@thedentallyteam.com. Thanks for Riften. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to all the May 8th people out there. It's a national holiday, so I hope you go turn on some pink and blue lights on your house. Wherever you are, celebrate Tiff and I. And Tiff, thanks for just being in my life. I just truly love and adore you, and it was really fun and special to do this.
I agree. Thank you for setting it up, and thank you.
Yeah. And for all of you listening, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Dental Team Podcast.